It is an emotional day for the friends and family of the victims of United Airlines Flight 93. As we mentioned earlier, the memorial to those heroic passengers who thwarted the attack will officially be dedicated in Shanksville, Pennsylvania today. And joining us from Shanksville are Alice Hoagland, whose son Mark died on the flight, and Gordon Felt, whose brother Ed called police from the bathroom of the plane. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, Rebecca.
And Alice, I can only imagine what you must be going through today, 10 years later. Tell us, where is your mind on a day like today?
Well, I think that not much is different. After 10 years, I still feel the grief pretty raw, and I'm glad Gordon is here. We both lost loved ones, and we'll see other Flight 93 family members, and it's going to be a good day in spite of the grief.
Alice, Mark was clearly a hero on Flight 93. How did you find out ultimately about his heroic acts?
Mark called us when out in California, and I always felt wonderful that if the news had to be that bad, that we could hear it from Mark himself. And it's wonderful to know that he teamed up with a few other guys on back of that airplane and were able to make a difference. I'm glad they seized the moment and took a vote and made a plan and ran forward and fought the enemy, and were able to thwart an ugly plan that was a couple of years in the making. And they had about 15 minutes to figure out what they were going to do. I'm really grateful that I was able to hear from my son about 15 minutes before he died.
And Gordon, your brother Ed, was able to alert the authorities. He was able to call 911. What are you going through today?
Well, this is a bittersweet weekend for us as a family group. Today, certainly with the dedication of the Flight 93 National Memorial, we finally know that our loved ones have a proper and fitting tribute to their memory that is under the care and stewardship of the National Park Service in perpetuity. Tomorrow, obviously, on the 10th anniversary, as Alice says, it opens a wound that hasn't diminished over these past 10 years.
What do you think of the memorial in Shanksville, Gordon?
Well, I think it's a beautiful memorial and very befitting of the story of the 40 heroes of Flight 93, because it's a story of a group of people that came together so quickly and so rapidly and had to react under the most horrific conditions, and only through their actions was this flight brought down as they were fighting for their lives, and we're just so grateful that further life wasn't lost in Washington, or one of the greatest symbols of our democracy. And this memorial takes into consideration the community, the topography of the land, this beautiful, serene setting, and it's a wonderful tribute to a group of 40 extraordinary people.
And it certainly stands for the notion that we will never forget, and never forget the heroic acts of both of your family members. Thanks so much to both of you, Alice and Gordon, for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.